to the AllBrands show, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. Give us a shout out, let us know where you're watching from, and we're going to be doing tons of giveaway with Durkee, and we're going to be having Durkee deals and giveaways during this video. So make sure that you like, comment, and share this post to be eligible to win. We're giving some very great things away and having great deals. So not only do you save off of already discounted pricing for this week only, but you have a chance to win. Did I mention that before? Winning. So to get access to the special pricing, if you're watching through Facebook, type in the comments register, and that registers you for comments sold. So we'll be posting some numbers on the screen. If you see something you like, go ahead and type in that number, and that gives you access to the special pricing. If you're watching from our website, there is a special discount code under this video. So if you are watching from our website, you click the AllBrands logo at the top left-hand side of your screen, and that will allow you to do comments. So I hope that you guys enjoy this. I'm so excited to have Brent from Durkee Hoops with us today, and I see that one of the cameras got disconnected, so I'll give him access. I just see this one now, Brent. So, hey. So let's see, the one of the phones lost access. Here we go. But while we're, oh, here we go. Wonderful.
Hey, everybody.
And thank you so much to Danielle behind the scenes.
She says thank you very much.
Who I muted that for her. Okay. Oh my gosh. Everyone's clicking register, shared. So we already have tons of people watching because your products are amazing.
Well, thank you so much. We've been blessed to have a lot of very kind comments about our products. We work very, very hard to make them as good as we possibly can, and we are deeply appreciative for all the kind comments that have been shared with us. So we're excited to be here with you.
Great. Well, without further ado, if you could just tell us a little bit more about Durkee Hoops. I'll be monitoring the comments. So be sure to like, comment, and share this. Type register in the comments. And if you have any questions, let me know because I will be monitoring that. So take it away, Brent.
Great. Be glad to do it. Well, I thought maybe a good idea to start off with would be to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that we get at trade shows and with phone calls and all that stuff. So let me just give you a brief background and where we started and where we are now, and hopefully a little bit about where we're going. My wife and I bought the company 11 years ago. The company had been in business for about 3 years. And believe it or not, one of the questions we're asked all the time is, where did the name Durkee Hoops come from? Well, this is a big surprise. The guy that started the company was named Mike Durkee, and he named it after himself. So we kept the name and away we go. But there's a big difference between what we bought and what we have now. Now, this may surprise you. I'm not an embroiderer, never have been. I'm trying to learn, and I'm a slow learner. My wife is not an embroiderer. She does a little bit of sewing, but we've had to learn everything that we learned from you and going to trade shows and talking with customers, and it's just been an absolute, it's been a thrill. I spent 27 years of my life in the building materials industry, most of it with a little company that most people know called Lowe's Companies. I was Lowe's Company's corporate professional sales manager for many years. Left the industry and decided to do something different, and here we are. So we're in the embroidery business, and we love it. And I've got to be very honest with you. I'm not saying it to suck up to you, I promise. Some of the nicest people we have ever met in our lives have been the people we met at trade shows and throughout the relationships that we've had with dealers. It's just been a ball. So we love this industry. So where did we start and how did we get to where we are? Well, believe it or not, the company that we bought manufactured commercial embroidery hoops, good old traditional two-piece plastic embroidery hoops. The company that we bought had 8 of these hoops. That's it. That was the whole company. And now as you look behind this, well, it doesn't look quite the same. And to be honest with you, what you're looking at is about a 12-foot display. And now when we go to a trade show, quite frankly, a 20-foot display is not enough to hold all the products that we've come up with. So the next question we're asked quite frequently is, how do you come up with the products? And the answer to that is, well, it's easy and it's hard. The easy part is we listen. We really ask questions. What are you doing now? How are you doing it? What do you like most about what you're doing? What do you like least about what you're doing? If you could change anything, what would you change to make the process easier? And by listening to all of that, my wife would attest to the fact that sometimes when I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I go and sit in the living room with pencil and paper, I'm trying to figure out the answer to some of those questions. And most of those answers you see behind us. So it's been a real great run. We've had a blast. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for the wonderful support that we've had for our products. And we're indeed grateful. We try to do things a little bit differently. I happen to be a Vietnam veteran. So I'm very proud that everything that we manufacture is made not only in the USA, it's actually manufactured within 30 miles of where I'm standing right now, which is our headquarters just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're very proud of our products and we stand behind our products. And when we say that, if any of you have ever had to interface with us or had the reason to interface with us over a problem with the product, I hope you will attest to this very quickly. We don't even ask questions. If you've got a problem with any one of our products, we warrant our products for life. We want you to be happy with our products for as long as you want to use them. So that's how we take care of things, and that's what we do. I thought it might be fun just to take a couple of the questions that were asked on an ongoing basis that relate to a lot of our products. Let's talk about, for just a minute, let's talk about size, because size is one of the issues that if you have a brother or a baby lock machine, a home embroidery machine, a light commercial machine, these are the types of questions that people ask on a regular basis. Example, I'm going to give you an analogy. If we were in a big room right now with a lot of people, and I asked for a show of hands, I said, how many people have ever gone to a lumber yard or a home center, or you or a spouse or some friend of yours or whatever, and bought a 2x4? How many people have done that? Chances are almost every single person in the room would raise their hand. And you might be surprised with what I say next. No, you haven't. Chances are you've never even seen a 2x4. That's a pretty big statement, isn't it? And the reason is there's two languages. There's what's called nominal size and actual size. The nominal size, the language that everybody uses, it's a 2x4. The actual size, if you go and measure it, it's 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So how does that relate to us here? Well, we're going to get into specific frames and all that stuff. We're going to talk about cap frames. We're going to talk about multi-needle easy frames and single needle easy frames. When we talk about nominal and actual, even with the machine you've got right now, if you happen to have a brother or a baby lock, let's just say it's a single needle flatbed machine or a 6 needle or a 10 needle, or perhaps a Persona. You might be used to hearing language, well, I have an 8x8 hoop, or I have a 12x8 hoop. No, you don't. You see, those are what's called the nominal sizes. The actual size of your sewing field, for example, if you had an 8x12 hoop, the actual size of your sewing field for your machine, if you have a brother baby lock machine, is 7 7/8 by 11 7/8. Okay, so that's the actual sewing field, and we'll get into a little bit more detail about that in the future. One of the questions that we come up with, and the reason I wanted to go into that, is a lot of people think that they can change the capability of their machine simply by adding a different hoop. I'll give you an example. I'll get a big one. This is a single needle easy frame, and it's 10 5/8 by 16. Currently, the largest frame that any machine with brother or baby lock will use on a flatbed machine. Sewing field 10 5/8 by 16. Now let's just suppose that you have a illuminator or a dream machine, and that dream machine has a sewing field of 9.5 by 14. And you say, you know what? I want a bigger sewing field, so I'm going to get one of those hoops that's bigger. First of all, if you put this in your machine, it won't even recognize it. You won't be able to stitch anything. But if it would still only stitch 9.5 by 14. That's it. But as it is, it actually wouldn't recognize it at all. So changing the hoop will not change the capability of your machine. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm stuck with what I've got? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Let's see if maybe we can trick the system just a little bit, and we can. We're not going to change the capability of your machine, but by using different software or access to what you have perhaps available in your current software, you might be able to do more with the machine that you've got. Let me be specific. If you have a Brother Persona PRS 100 single needle tubular arm machine, the sewing field for that machine is 7 7/8 by 7 7/8. But what if you could do 7 7/8 by 14? Would that be of interest to you? You see, you're not spending more money to enlarge your machine, but simply by using your PE Design software. If you have PE Design 8 through 11, or if you want to purchase it, or perhaps you have some other software that allows you to do a split design, and those are the key words, split design. Then what happens is you create your design in your software splits that design in half. You don't have to do it, it does it. You load it onto your thumb drive, put it in your machine, load the hoop into the machine, stitch the first half of your design, the machine stops, you take the hoop out, turn it 180 degrees, put it back in, and you stitch the other half. And it's absolutely phenomenal. And you just took a machine with a maximum sewing field of 7 7/8 by 7 7/8 and took it to 7 7/8 by 14. Does that sound like fun? Tell you what, what if you could do it with a 6 needle machine?
That is phenomenal, because the Brother Persona or Baby Lock Alliance, it's only an 8x8 embroidery area. So to be able to get a package that combines full digitizing plus the split frame, that's awesome.
You got it. Well, the story gets even better. What if you have a 6 needle machine? 6 needle machine, maximum sewing field, 7 7/8 by 11 7/8. How about 12 by 14? Specifically, 11 7/8 by 13 7/8. Here's the frame that will allow you to do that using PE Design software. So Barbara, I know you're going to be talking about it later on. If people
so I think we could let the cat out of the bag.
PE Design software, I know they're going to be able to use it to do this.
Yeah, so this is your first chance to view the secret pricing of this item. And it's the Brother PE Design 11 full professional digitizing software that allows you to wirelessly transfer to your machine, and to it's phenomenal, and it's half price, and you get the SturdiFrame with it. So to access that, if you did already click type in register to set up your comment sold account, and if you have a Brother 6 or 10 needle or Baby Lock comparable, go ahead and type in sold 122 in the comments to get access to that special deal, because it's half price PE Design 11 and you still get the frame with it. This is an amazing deal, Brent. And if you have the Persona or Alliance, that's sold 123. So I'm not allowed to say the price on this video. And it's that special price that's discounted even further is only available this week. So you have to register for that or use the coupon on our website.
And
all right,
folks, let me just add a little bit to what Barbara just said. We maintain what's called MAP, minimum advertised pricing, for all of our dealers, and that's simply to keep the playing field level, so that there's a level playing field for everybody to compete fairly. But when you pick up the phone and call and say, what's my price on set, they can do anything they want to do. And guess what? I happen to know Barbara pretty well, and she has shown me what she's doing for Durkee Dealer Days here for the next week. And I promise you, I have not seen lower prices anywhere. So we cannot discuss the price, but when you do what Barbara tells you to do to make your purchase, then you're going to get a very pleasant surprise. So Barbara, with that, I'm going to go back once again to the beginning and move rapidly forward, just to show you where it started and to emphasize listening to people. When I came into the industry, knew nothing about it. One of the things that I heard people say, or one of the observations actually that I made, was a lot of people, I'm 70 years old, a lot of people in this industry are like me, they're getting on up in years, and a lot of us have problems with our hands, whether it's arthritis or carpal tunnel syndrome. And one of the complaints that I heard early on, and again, I didn't know hardly anything about this stuff, and all we had was 8 of these plastic hoops, but people kept saying it's so hard to turn those little thumb screws. So I went to the company that makes our thumb screws. And I said, look, can't we make a larger thumb screw? And so for our traditional plastic hoops, if you look, it's called the knurl. The knurl on this thumb screw is about 3 or 4 times larger than the traditional ones that come on the hoops that you have with your machine. So it's little things like that where we thought we could make a contribution. We listen more and we learn more. And one of the things that we learned, and for those of you that I've had the pleasure of meeting at a trade show, I hope this puts a smile on your face because you'll know I'm not making it up. You've heard me do it. One of the first major product changes we made was a product called a cap frame. To create a cap frame that was easy to use, that would create a larger sewing field, that was not so intimidating. And I got to tell you, if you've ever seen me at a trade show, you're going to verify that this is exactly how this happens. When people walk up to my table at a trade show, I say, "Hi, do you do caps?" "No." "Why not?" "Hate them." "Why do you hate them?" "That stupid thing, it's so intimidating. You got to take the arms off your machine. You got to put this round thing on there, and then you got to digitize for round, and it's just so intimidating. I just don't want to do all that to do a cap." And I say, "Really? Huh. Oh, yeah. Is there anything else about it that you don't like?" "Well, if you can even figure the thing out and make it work, you only get something about that big. You can't get close to the brim. Can't stitch on the back of the hat." I say, "Really? Well, what if we could do something a little easier and a little better?" And with that, I turn and point and I say, "Well, what if you could stitch something, say, 4 or 5 inches like these on display?" "Can you do that?" "Yeah, you're looking at it." "Can I do that on my machine?" "Yeah, you can." "How do you do it?" "Well, let me show you how you do it." And I'm going to switch down here, and Barbara, if you can give me a close-up, and I'll show you just how hard this is, or easy, just depending on how you want to look at it. First of all, you don't take anything off your machine. This hoop goes in the arms of your machine, the A arms of your machine, just like any other hoop, okay? So you're just putting the hoop on your machine. All we're going to do, we're going to loosen this plate. Never, ever, ever take these thumb screws off. There's no reason to do that, okay? I put these 2 slots here for a reason, and that's simply to lift up on the bill plate. And I'm going to turn this around this way so maybe you can see just a little bit better. And then I'm going to take the bill of the cap, I'm going to slide it underneath. I'll do this backwards so that hopefully you can see it better. And there's a slot right in front of the frame. That's the alignment slot. And all I'm going to do is unfasten the back of the cap. This is sticky backing, tearaway backing on the back. And all I'm going to do is put that cap right down on that center line. And I'm going to press the fabric right down on that sticky backing. You'll notice there's an alignment guide in the back and there's one in the front. So all I'm going to do is line that center seam of the cap up right on that line, press it down. And lo and behold, when I tighten these up, guess what? With a non-structured or moderately structured hat, all I've got to do is put that on the machine and stitch it. Now, let's take a minute, Barb, if we can change the camera back with the full screen. Let me talk for just a minute about the language of caps, okay? If you're not familiar with caps, this will be helpful to you. The language of caps is structured. The word is structured. Another word might be stiff. You might have heard the words trucker's cap. All that's referring to is how stiff the front of that cap is. We go from what's called a non-structured cap. Boy, is that non-structured. That's a floppy hat there, okay? Totally non-structured. There's a fabric that's put on the inside of the cap that's called buckram. It's typically white or black. It could be any color. But here's a picture of it inside. It's just a fabric that stiffens the front of the cap. Very easy to say. The more buckram, the stiffer the cap, or the more structured the cap, okay? So this cap would be a little harder to press down than this cap, okay? Then you get to what's called a trucker's cap that's highly structured, that's real stiff and hard to press down. So one of the common questions that we're asked is, can you do a structured cap? Okay, here's the answer. Yes, you can, to a degree. Let's say the sewing field on this cap frame is 4 inches by 5 inches, 4 inches tall, 5 inches wide. Now, most people don't want a monogram or something that big, but you may want something much larger than what your round sewing device will give. So let's just say that my fingers represent the sewing field. Now watch, the more structured the cap is, watch my fingers, you see they're coming in. You will lose width, but you see they're not coming down. And here's a great example. This is a highly structured hat with a large letter A. In fact, that's done in the puffy font, okay? So see how tall that is? That's about 3.5 inches tall. So you'll lose some width, but you won't lose height. And the reason for that is when you go to press that cap down, these bulges on the side or bumps on the side, you can only mash them down so far. So if you're doing a lightly structured to moderately structured hat, have fun all day long, go get it. Second issue, can't get close to the brim of the cap. Really? Let me put this down here where you can get a close-up, Barbara. If you can see that, that's about 1/4 of an inch, okay? Now, once I show this to people, the next thing I say is, please don't try to do that. Because one of the things that you have to do when you're hooping a cap, I didn't do it here because I want to do it quickly to show you, is you have to turn the sweatband inside the cap. You have to turn it back out of the way. If you don't do that, you're going to stitch through it and you won't be able to use the hat. So you've got to turn that sweatband back underneath the bill clamp. That's what will hold it in place, okay? So can you get close? Yes. Well, what we suggest is about 5/8 of an inch, about a finger's width. That's about as low as you want to go. Now, something very interesting that happened. I take it for granted a lot of times that people think things through and understand them, and that's not really fair. I should do a more in-depth explanation. That's my fault. I've had people come back the second year to a trade show, and they walk up and they say something like this: hey, I got your cap frame. I love it. I'm making tons of cap. But there's one thing about the cap frame that's just not accurate. And I say, really, what is that? They say, you can't get that low on a cap. And I pick this up and I hold it and I say, you can't get that low? They say, no, you can't get that low. Well, show me how you're doing this. What are you doing? And I hand them the frame and I let them have the cap. And here's what they do. They take the cap and they slide it in and they say, now watch this. That's as far as it goes. That bill clamp stops it. It won't go any further. And I say, that's what you're doing to get it lower on the cap? And they say, well, yeah, I'm trying to get it down lower. And here's what I say. Okay, watch. If you put your hands just like this, if you held them just like this, and you don't move them, what would happen to that design if I did this? Pull the cap back for the stitching to go down, okay? So pull it back to go down. All right, the next thing is, can you do the back of the cap? Answer, absolutely yes. And by the way, that's, I think, 26,000 stitches on this particular one. Can you do the back of the cap? All I'm going to do, turn the cap around. I'm going to slide the tabs in. And I'm going to do two things exactly the same. I'm going to pull the tab all the way over to the bolt, hold it down here and tighten it down. I'm going to pull it all the way over to the bolt, and again, right down to the edge of the cap and tighten it down. Now, here's what we just did. By doing that, I have completely eliminated any possibility of the cap being crooked this way. So now all in the world I'm going to do, vertical slot, vertical line of the cap, all I'm going to do is line it up, press it down, and there you go. Okay? And I hope you can see on screen the stitching on the cap. So that's how you do the front and back of the cap with the multi-needle cap frame. We have that for the Persona, and we have it for the 6 and 10 needle machines as well. Now, what about the people that have a flatbed single needle machine? Well, guess what? We have it for you as well. And again, if I can go back down to the other camera, Barbara, this is what it looks like. All in the world we do is take the 5x7 hoop that came with your machine, take the inside of the hoop out, put our cap frame in. It fits perfectly. It's designed to fit 100% perfectly inside the outer ring of your single needle 5x7 cap frame. Take a screwdriver, tighten down that screw to hold it in place. And all we're going to do is take the cap. This is the bill clamp with a piece of sticky backing on the back right here. All I'm going to do is, again, turn the sweatband back out of the way, lift up the bill clamp, slide it underneath, center it right down the center seam, press it down with sticky backing, put it in the machine and stitch it, okay? So that's just how easy it is to make a design on a cap using your 5x7 hoop that came with your machine. So Barbara, do you have anything to add at this time or any questions so far?
Actually, I do. So I just want to let everybody know. So just to recap, there's 3 different options that we're showing right now for that cap frame. So if you have a 6 or 10 needle machine, that is comment sold 100 for that. If you have a Persona or Baby Lock Alliance, that's sold 101. if you have a brother or baby lock V series or up machine with the cut and a 5x7 frame hoop bottom, to order the insert for that type sold $102. And I think that that gets us to our special, because we did promise a giveaway, right?
All right, yay!
So if you haven't yet, if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and type register to be eligible to win. That gets your commentsold.com account up and ready, because we'll be doing more of these for sure with our special deal. So go ahead and get that account set up, and I will pick a random winner. Miss Cindy Ellie Delay. Let me know if I butchered that terribly, but we are going to be giving away a hat hoop. So just let us know which machine you have, and we would be so happy to send that to you if you just direct message allbrands.com and give us your email address, phone number, address, and what machine you have. And congratulations, Cindy, for that giveaway. So we have some other items, some exciting things to show too. And Brent, I know this wasn't planned, but I have to tell you, I have the new Brother 10 needle PR1055X, which is phenomenal.
Right.
And I'm using your EZ Frames set on it with the camera on the machine to position my my design in my little onesie that I have. So I absolutely love your products. So I know that you'll be showing us some fun things with that.
That little onesie would not be for a new nephew or niece, would it?
Oh, no.
Well, let me finish by showing you very quickly on the cap frames. If we could go back to this camera for just a moment. A lot of people say, well, a traditional ball cap, is that all you can do? No. How about visors? There's somebody in your world that likes visors, just as, in fact, maybe easier to do than ball cap. Just a couple of examples. What about a bucket cap? Can you do a bucket cap? Yes, absolutely. Nothing to it. Last January, about one of the last trade shows we got to do was in Las Vegas at the Vacuum Dealer Trade Association, Vacuum Dealer, Sewing Dealer Trade Association. And we were demonstrating some things there, and people said, well, show us all of the capabilities of what you can do. And in just a few moments, I'm going to be showing you our EZ Frames that Barbara was just talking about. But here's a cap that we did live at the show. We did the front using the cap frame that you just saw. We did the back. Now, this is a fitted cap. And a lot of people say, can you do a fitted cap with your cap frame? The answer is yes, but I would never do it. And the reason I would never do it is it's far too hard to get everything aligned, and it's so easy to do with our EZ Frames. So all in the world we did was we took our EZ Frames, rolled out that fitted back, put a 2x4 frame in it, and stitched Durkee on the back, stitched EZ Frames on the side, and stitched cap frames on the other side. And all of that was just done with a 2x4 EZ Frame, which we're going to talk about next, okay? Are there any questions that I need to address so far, Barbara? Anybody have a question? Are we ready to continue?
I've been answering all of the questions in the comments that I can see, but if I didn't get to you, I will go back and check all of these after the video. One of the questions on the first item that you showed was the SturdiFrame with the PE design. Is it called the SturdiFrame? The first item that we showed. This one, the Sturdy. Yeah, the one that doubles your hoop size using split design. Yeah. So if a customer has palette 11, which is the basically PE design 11 for baby lock, yeah, you can use that to split designs, right?
I'm not an expert on the subject. I have been told that palette 11 is 100% identical to PE design 11. So the answer should be 100% yes.
Okay. Brother folks, if you're watching, just confirm that too. So so we triple check, fact check. Okay, and that's all we have. So I'll be monitoring the comments and letting you know if we have any more questions. We have 81 watchers, woohoo, so far. So we're doing very well, and I'm so happy to have you all in our company.
Well, let's talk about EZ Frames, and I want to continue answering some of the most commonly asked questions. And I bet somebody's thinking right now, why haven't you dealt with the one that I want to talk about? And that's, how do you clean these stinking frames? It's not the easiest thing in the world, most people think. So let's talk about it. There are several things that you can do. And let me tell you in advance, the last thing that I tell you is going to be the most important thing that you can do, okay? So I'm going to take 2 minutes to tell you all this other stuff, but what I tell you in the last 15 seconds is going to be the most important thing I can tell you for keeping these clean. First of all, these are all, it's called anodized aluminum. The anodization process completely chemically coats the entire frame. Now, here's what that means to you. No residue, there's no black soot, whatever, that aluminum can cast off if it's not sealed. So we pay a lot of money to ensure that our products are as right as they can be. And all of our products are anodized, whether they're clear anodized like this, or if they're another color, blue or red, like you've already seen. So what do I do to make it as easy on myself as possible to keep these things clean? Number one, you can take a product like Goof Off, Goo Gone, orange oil, citrus oil, any product like that at all. And if you're older like me and you've ever seasoned a frying pan, you'll understand this. Take some of that product and simply rub on the back of the frame. Then take a dry rag and wipe it off. What that will do is leave a very light coating on the frame. Now put your sticky backing on, put your garment on, stitch the garment. I said the last 15 seconds is going to be the most important. Are you ready? As soon as you finish stitching your product, remove your garment, slowly peel the sticky backing away. Now you notice I did not say, put it down, go to lunch, come back in 2 hours, and then take it off. I didn't say do it this afternoon at 5 o'clock or tomorrow morning at 3. As soon as you finish your project, I promise you, if you'll slowly peel it off right then, it'll come right off. Wad it into a ball with the sticky portion out, and if there's any residue at all, just kind of dab it. Comes right off, you're ready to go with your next project. Most important thing I can tell you, don't leave it on there. The longer you leave it on there, the stickier it becomes, okay? Another common question, what about sticky backing? I'm not in a position to, we don't manufacture backing. Let me get that out of the way real quick. I will tell you that the cap frames were our first product, and then the EZ Frames were next. And I'm going to back up to the cap frame just to tell you this story very quickly. I was petrified when I came out with the cap frame, because the only way you can do it is with a sticky backing. And I had heard horror stories about sticky backing. Oh, this stuff's horrible. It will gum up needles. It will damage a machine. And I've learned that that is true with some sticky backings. That is absolutely true. I've been told stories. I have not seen it with my own eyes, but I've been told stories that some of it is so gooey it's like flypaper. And you can take a roll of it and stand it on in a closet, come back in 30 days, and all the glues run to the bottom. Horrible. I was scared because I had heard those types of stories. We have one of our customers that is also a major manufacturer. They're called Gnold out of Kennesaw, Georgia. And I know that they know everything in the world about backing. So I called the owner, the president of the company, and I said, Mark, I'm getting ready to make a product that requires sticky backing. Help me. What? And he just laughed at me. And he said, Brent, he gave us the name of his product. It's called Filmoplast. It's a commercial product that they've been making for over 20 years. And he said, if you're that concerned about it, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll give you a pack to go with every one of your cap frames for the first year, and let's just see if you ever get a single complaint. Well, I'm not going to tell you the number, but I will say, without trying to brag, we sold an awful lot of cap frames in the first year, and they all went out with a pack of the sticky backing. We have never, ever had a complaint, ever. It's a medium to low residue type of commercial product, and we just never had a problem with it. So I'm sure there's tons of great ones out there. I don't know their names, but I know that one works for us, and it works well. So sticky backing, how do you get it off? How do you clean it up? That's it. One other thing, you're going to do what we all do. You're not going to do what I just said a minute ago. Phone's going to ring, Sally's going to call, John's got to pick him up at baseball practice. You got to go somewhere, and you come back, you go, oh my gosh, I left that sticky backing on there. How can I get it off? Again, Goof Off, Goo Gone. There's a new product I have been told. I haven't tried it. I just saw it in a gallon jug at Lowe's, and I was told you could buy it at the dollar store. It's a product called Totally Awesome, and I've been told that it does a great job of removing that residue. But the last thing I want to tell you, and this is critically important, I've heavily emphasized or tried to that this is anodized aluminum. That's a chemical treatment. Never do what I'm about to say. You could use gasoline on this and you won't hurt the frame. Don't do it by any means. Point is, very durable, very tough. But let me tell you where it's not tough. You can use any of those products. You can use basically any chemical you want to use. You can use a plastic paint scraper and you can scrape it off. Won't hurt a thing. Never, ever, ever touch one of these frames with anything metal. No Brillo pad made out of metal. No metal paint scrapers. If it's plastic, all day long. Chemicals, all day long. Okay, but that'll get it cleaned up. So with that said, let's get off to the next subject, and that is the EZ Frames themselves. Why did we do this? Again, we listen to people, and I'm not going to go into a long story about what caused me to create this other than this. Most people, whether you're pretty new to embroidery or even if you've been around for a pretty good while, you understand that there are basically two coordinates that people talk about with embroidery. There's the X coordinate, that's the left to right that the frame moves. There's the Y coordinate, front to back. Most everybody knows that, and every stitch that goes into your design is a result of a specific coordinate of where X and Y meet, and that's where the needle comes down and places the thread. But what most people don't talk about, and many people don't even know, is that there's a third coordinate, and that third coordinate is the Z coordinate. The Z is the needle going up and down. And think about this. You got a frame doing this, and you got a needle doing this. And what you're trying to end up with is the cleanest, clearest registration, neatest, prettiest product that you can possibly embroider. How clean and neat and accurate can that be if the needle's doing this and the frame is doing this up and down? Can't do a great job, I don't think. So when we looked around at looking what was out there, what was available, we said there's got to be a better way, and there is. So we created this product. All of our EZ Frames are 3/16 of an inch, 3 times thicker than competitive products, but they're anodized aluminum, so they're still super light. Number two, there are two, on our adapter arm, there are 2 large fluted knobs. Large? Why? Go back to the very first thing we ever created. Easier on your hands. It's easier to tighten. It's easier to loosen for most of us, okay? And by having an anchor point in 2 places, it keeps the frame more stable. Once again, the blue adapter arm that goes on your machine, and you have to have the blue adapter arm, that adapter arm holds the EZ Frame. It too is 3/16 of an inch thick, not a little thin piece of metal, okay? So all of that adds enormously to the stability of the product. Last but not least, there are 2 other items that we added. Simple and common sense to me as they may be, never found on competitors' products. We have centering notches on all 4 sides to help you align your design. And the last thing to me that was the most basic of all was a label on this side, okay? By the way, it's label side up. Someone was telling me about a guy that went to work for a landscape company, and his job was to lay sod. And he asked his boss, he said, what do I need to do to be successful in this job? He said, son, just remember, green side up and you'll do okay. Well, with our EZ Frames, label side up. I've actually had customers call me and say, it's him, the phrase, do it. And after we go through all the conversation, they had the label down. Label up for a reason. So if you can read it, you're right, okay? If you can read it, you're right. One of the things that we do is we put on our label 2 things that are very important. We give you the actual sewing field. Now, I've got to explain this again. Go back to the beginning. Let's talk about size. If you'll notice, this is the largest one that we have that goes in this particular arm. This is a 12 by 8. It says 12 by 8. What did I say earlier? Your machine, if you have a brother or baby lock 6 or 10 needle machine, will stitch what? 7 7/8 by 11 7/8. So why do we say 12 by 8? Is that nominal size? No, it's actual size. Because you see, we make our frames not only for brother and baby lock machines, we make them for almost every embroidery machine in the world, including commercial machines, and commercial machines that have sewing fields not only this size, but perhaps much larger. So that's a true number, but you have to know your machine, okay, and what your machine's capabilities are. Now, let me give you one more super trick thing that you need to know. Because of the depth of the blue adapter arm, when you combine that with the EZ Frame, when we say that your machine will do 7 7/8, your machine will. It will not do it with our EZ Frames. You will lose about 1/4 of an inch. So instead of 7 7/8, you're going to have 7 5/8 because this thickness is a little thicker than the normal hoop that goes on your machine, okay? So with our EZ Frame on your machine, 7 5/8 by 11 7/8. Hope that's clear for everyone, okay? So with that, that's how that works. Now, what about sizes? When we started off, we started with a basic, what we call a 7-piece combo. And that 7-piece combo includes frame that I took down a few moments ago, the 2x4. And by the way, once again, all of these sizes are sewing fields. When we say 2 by 4, if you were to measure the inside of that frame, it would measure 3 by 5. That allows 1/2 inch for the presser foot all the way around the inside of that frame so that you don't hit the frame, okay? So 2 by 4, 2.5 by 4, 3 by 4, 5 by 4, 7 by 5, 8 by 8, and the blue adapter arm. Now that's 7 frames plus the blue adapter arm is our 7-piece set. And that was where we started. Now I don't know how many of you have children or grandchildren. I have 7 granddaughters, okay? And one of my granddaughters a few years back said, "Granddaddy, there's a place we just have to go. You've got to take me." I said, "Where is it?" She said, "We've got to go to the mall to a place called Build-A-Bear." I said, "Build-A-Bear?" She said, "Yeah, Build-A-Bear." I said, "Okay, let's go." So we went to the mall, we went to Build-A-Bear. Now, again, show of hands, I wish I could see you, be honest. By show of hands, if you've ever been to Build-A-Bear, will you agree with this? For those of you who don't know what it is, trust me on this one. Build-A-Bear is a place that you take a child or a grandchild to where you can buy a bear for $19.95. And when you get to the counter, it's $99.95 with all the stuff that they add to it, necklaces, and oh, it's unbelievable. So I said, wait a minute. If that's a good thing for children, how about for adults? Why should we force people to buy a 7-piece set when there may be some frames here that they don't want or don't need? So we came up with what we call a 4-piece kickstart combo, okay? And what this set is, every set, by the way, includes the blue adapter arms. This set includes the blue adapter arm, and it includes a 2 by 4, 5 by 4, 7 by 5, and 8 by 8 frame, okay? So from there, if that satisfies all your needs, guess what? You just got a set of EZ frames, a lot less expensively or a lot less investment, okay? And away you go and have fun. But maybe down the road you decide, I could use a whatever size frame. Add it. You can add it when you want to. Add it at your leisure, okay? So you can build a bear or you can build a set of EZ frames the way you want it. Customize your own set, okay? So that's the 4-piece kickstart combo is what we call it. And that's a starting point. And then, of course, as I already pointed out, we have the 7-piece.
So Brent, we
Yeah.
do have one question because I see, and I promised Kelly that I would ask you this. She was thinking that round option that you're going to show in the 7-piece set, I guess, she's thinking that was for hats. But what do people use that round hoop for?
My apologies. I do apologize because I went through those 7 frames. I failed to show the radius frame. I left it off. That is the 7th frame. And I apologize. I failed to show it. So you can use this for caps. Most people, you can certainly use it on the back of caps. But to be honest with you, if that's what you want to do, that's great. For the front of caps, not so much. Let me tell you, and you've asked such a great question. Let me lead us in a different direction to get back to this. A lot of people say, for example, if I had that 7-piece set of frames, I would never use that 2 by 4. Or they might say, I would never use that radius frame. Or I might. Let me tell you what happens. People get the set, and if I was to say to you, and a lot of times this happens at trade shows, someone will come up and say, okay, well, what do you use that frame for? And here's my answer, not trying to be nasty, trying to be helpful. I say, I'm not going to answer your question, but please hear me out. Please hear me out. The reason I'm not going to answer your question is if I was to say to you that this might be used for some pockets, it could have a lot of uses, but it might be used in a pocket. And you buy the set and take it home and you take it and put it on the shelf and you say, I don't have any pockets to do. And then all of a sudden one day someone comes to you and says, hey, could you put my son's initials on the back of the strap of a cap? And you go, no, I don't have a way to do that. Sure you do. 2 by 4 hoop. There it is. The only hoop that I will actually answer the question, what's it for, is the radius frame cap. There are several things you can do. Deep pockets on backpacks, purses. There are a lot of purses that this just fits in perfectly. Do a monogram. Baby bloomers and bibs. There's all types of things you can do. But again, I want to take us back to another place on the education side because you led to such a great point. On our website, and I think, Barbara, I think you have this on yours as well. I want to show a picture very quickly of the homepage and take you somewhere. If you can go down here, Barbara, with your camera. This is a snapshot of the homepage of our website. It's DE Hoops or DurkeeHoops.com, either one you want to use. And the reason that I'm showing this to you, I got to get it where we get it in the camera, is I want you to see very, very clearly what we've tried to do in making this easy. If you have a single needle flatbed machine, all you need or a multi-needle machine with or a persona. If you've got a multi-needle machine or a persona, click here. If you've got a single needle flatbed machine, click here, okay? And that's to keep you from being distracted and looking at things that you don't even want to be looking at. You're interested in what comes with your machine. But to get to the point very quickly, let's say that you've got a single needle flatbed machine and you click here. The same result, if you click here, is the next page is going to be this page. Only on the multi-needle, it'll say multi-needle, okay? And all I want you to focus on is this one line right here with the guy's picture. That guy's name is Mike Johns. Some of you perhaps know Mike or have been to some of his educational seminars. If you'll click here one time, that's going to take you to the next page, which is right here. We have created 10 different, very in-depth video tutorials. Those video tutorials include things like baby onesies, how to do caps, left and right chest embroidery, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Which leads me back to this frame, okay? One of those is how do you do the belly on one of those stuffed animals? Perfect, absolutely perfect. Full tutorial. There are 40 video tutorials. If you have a baby lock, click on baby lock and you can watch that video on a Destiny 2. If you have a multi-needle, you can watch it on a Valiant machine with a 10-needle machine. If you click on brother, you can watch that project being made on a Luminaire or on the 10-needle 1050, okay? So we tried to make it as easy. We did the same 10 videos on 4 different machines so that you could pick up some ideas on your machine. Now, here's the thing about that I really want you to know, because that's been my give back to the industry. And I say this with all sincerity, that's been my labor of love. That's our give back. So many people, and most dealers are really, really fantastic about training and the opportunities they have for you to come to educational events. But my feeling is, well, there's no more lonesome feeling than when you spend a lot of money for a machine and you get home and it's Saturday night and you're trying to figure out how to do a project and there's no one to call, no one to talk to. Chances are, if you'll watch one of those video tutorials, there's probably something that's pretty close to what you want to do. Here's the bonus. Obviously, we teach you how to do that particular project, but much more importantly, we teach you about your machine. I've had people call me, and I hate to use the phrase that brings tears to my eyes. It makes me awfully proud when somebody calls me and they said, you know what, I've been embroidering on this machine for 5 years. I had no idea. I thought there was only one way to trace the design. I had no idea there's 3 different ways to trace. This guy teaches you everything. They're educational videos, okay? So they're tutorials, they're helpful, and the best part of all perhaps is the cost. Zero. Doesn't cost you a dime. So I went a long ways off in answering the question, but a lot of uses, whatever it fits, is always the answer to the question, what can you use this for, this for, this for? If you can make that work on caps for you, hallelujah, have at it. Go at it. Certainly will work on the back of caps very easily. Use it for any project that it fits. That's the answer, okay? I made the biggest mistake of my life with these things early on. There was a lady that came up at a trade show, and she had one of these carry bags that you take to trade shows, and she must have had 8 or 10 pockets on that bag. And I promise you, we used 5 different EZ Frames on different size pockets on that bag. I should have bought the bag so I could use it to demonstrate, but it just goes to show you, whatever the frame fits, that's what it's for, okay? And I hope I've answered that question all right.
That was amazing. Thank you, Brent. And
okay.
Yeah, everyone's chiming in that they love tutorials. So for the videos, definitely go to the Durkee Hoops website to see those. They're also listed on the product pages of allbrands.com. But to get the special Durkee deals, you have to purchase from allbrands.com and either use the code or the comment sold feature that we're using on this video. So you're going to be talking about different EZ frame sets for the multi-needle and persona. So there's
Absolutely.
there's different ones. So I'll just try to chime in and let y'all know. I know that you just talked about the 4-piece. So I just wanted to just recap. If you were interested in the 4-piece and you have a Brother 6 or 10 needle machine, that is sold space 105 space 610. So you have to type it in exactly how it's on the screen for it to come to your comment sold account. And if you don't have an account set up yet, if you are on Facebook, type register. So, and after you show these, I'll be doing another giveaway too. So that's very exciting.
Right.
And if you have a persona, that's sold space 105 space persona. So I hope that's helpful. And you're going to show the 7-piece. So that's
there's the 7-piece that we were talking about. The 8-piece is exactly the same set, but it includes the 12 by 8 frame. That makes it an 8-piece set. Now, last but not least, 12-piece set. Let me show you what happened shortly after we got started with the EZ Frames, and I'm going to step over to the side here so I can kind of point if you don't mind. All of the frames that you see over here, and there are 9 of them, these are what we call additional sizes. Quickly, 1.5 by 4. These are sewing fields. 1.5 by 4, 3 by 8, 5 by 8, 12 by 4. And I want to talk about those in just more detail in just a moment. Let's go down here. 4 by 4, 5 by 5, 6 by 6, 7 by 7. So if you've got a specific need for a specific size frame, hopefully we have something that's really close to what you need. Last but not least, hanging down here at the bottom, I'm going to bring it out because I'm going to talk about it more in just a minute in more detail. This is 4 inches wide, 12 inches deep. Come back to it in just a minute. I want to go back up to these 4. And the reason for these 4, those are the 4 that you get with the 12-piece set that go with the 8-piece, okay? You add those 4 pieces, there's your 12-piece set. Here's why. These are by far and away the 4 most popular additional size frames that we sell. 1.5 by 4, it's the smallest, most narrow frame that we make. Shirt pockets, tongues of tennis shoes, sides of tennis shoes. There's all types of things. There's just numerous things that you can do with it. 3 by 8. The 3 by 8 is for shirt sleeves, pant legs, preemie onesies, preemie baby onesies. 5 by 8. 5 by 8, you named it. We didn't. You named it the onesie hoop. Perfect size for traditional size onesies. This was perhaps one of the hardest ones that people got me to make. This is the 12 by 4. And I thought, well, what in the world is people going to do with that? Obviously, you can do a long monogram on a bag or something, a duffel bag, or a long monogram on a towel. Then they hit me with it, and they said, dog collars, karate belts. I said, okay, I'll make the frame. So it's been one of our best-selling frames. But those 4 are our best sellers as far as the additional frames. The 1.5 by 4, the 3 by 8, 5 by 8, and the 12 by 4. I said I would come back to this one. Obviously, we share all of our information with all of our products with all of our dealers. A lot of those dealers are brother and baby like dealers, so they take all of our information, they put it on the website. I hope they do on their website what we do on ours. If you were to go on our website and you saw this frame with all of the others, this one has one thing that none of the others have on it. It has a little note underneath that says commercial machines only. Okay. Now, will this work on your machine? If you have a brother or baby like, yes, it certainly will work. What did we say from the very beginning? A hoop will not change the capability of your machine. So instead of 4 by 12, you can put it on and it will fit on the EZ Frame arm. It'll fit on your machine. But guess what? 7 7/8. That's all you're going to get to stitch. So we don't recommend you buy this at all. Okay. If we get something returned, that's what it is. And that's why people don't understand that this does not change your machine. 3 by 8, 5 by 8, you got it to go. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about on the multi-needle EZ Frames is this. This is going to sound a little silly, but imagine the machine's right here, and I'm going to put this on the machine. Here's how it goes on the machine, okay? First of all, this goes on the A arms of your machine, okay? Always on the A arms. Now, please understand that when you put this on the A arms, whether it's with a 12 by 8 hoop, or a 2 by 4 hoop, or a 3 by 8 hoop, or 1.5 by 4 hoop, it's all going to go on this blue arm. But when you put this on your machine is built and designed to recognize frames from the factory. Very, very important, from the factory. And when you put that left arm of your machine in that A frame position, A arm position, and you tighten the screw down nice and tight, if you put this in with a 1.5 by 4 frame, guess what? Your machine thinks you have a 12 by 8 frame. So your machine does not recognize mine or any other frame from any manufacturer other than those that came with your machine. So it's up to you, and that's what we teach you in the tutorials. You have to center your design, load your design in the machine, center the design in the middle of the frame, trace your design to make sure it fits comfortably, and once it does, then you can stitch. We even teach you how to do all of that on the videos, okay? So be sure and watch the videos. Number two, last, and I got to give you a chuckle. This is how it goes on the machine. It goes on as a unit. Do not put the blue arm on, hoop your garment, and then try to slide it on and get your hand. Please, this goes on as a unit. It comes off as a unit. Take it off, take your garment off, take the hoop off. If that's what you put another one. But if it goes on as a unit, it comes off as a unit. Don't try to do it separately, okay? So with that said, one last time, it goes on this way. Our largest distributor in Europe is a company called ETC Supplies in Glasgow, Scotland. Why would I tell you that? Big in the commercial, just getting into the brother machines and that type of stuff, just getting into the home or smaller commercial business. And so they started carrying some of our EZ Frames. I got a panic email a couple of weeks ago. Oh, the customer, they're scared to death it won't work. They're putting an 8x8 frame on there and they can only sew 2 inches. And I'm sitting there scratching my head going, what? Bottom line, I said, send me a picture of the frame on the machine. I hope you can see this. Barbara, can you switch down to this? They sent me the picture. They put I'm trying to move it around where you can see it. There we go. They put the hoops on upside down, put them on completely backwards. So once we got that straightened out, they fell in love. All right, last thing I'm gonna say about EZ Frames, I'm gonna say it as quickly as I can because we're running out of time here. What if you're one of those people that absolutely says, look, I'd love to be able to stitch stuff in closer, tighter places, things that EZ Frames were made for, to get away from hooping altogether and to be able to float stuff. I'd love to be able to do it, but sticky backing and I are not going to get along. I don't care what you say. I'm not going to use sticky backing. I have never done one time. You're the first people to ever see me do this. I'm not particularly proud of it, but I'm going to do it because it addresses, again, a question that some customers have. Is there another way to do it? Yeah, there is. Let me show this to you very quickly, Barbara, if you can go back over here. And this looks like an EZ Frame with freckles or something. And when I tell you what this is, some of you are going to go, oh, I use that all that. You already know what this is. But to many others, you don't. This is conventional cutaway backing on the underside, lapped over the edge of the frame. And Barbara, if we can go back to the other, let's see, this will probably work right here. Yeah, let's go back. Let me show you what this product, you can buy it on Amazon. The whole product, including the dispenser and a pack of 100 of these little clips, costs less than 20 bucks. Believe it or not, this was designed to be a paper clip. That's about 40 or 50 pieces of paper. That's a paper clip, okay? But it just so happens it works perfectly on EZ Frames. Now, let me explain to you very quickly. There's a size 40 and a size 60. You want size 60. What do those sizes mean? 40 is for 40 pieces of paper, 60 is for 60 pieces. But you need that thickness to handle the EZ Frame, okay? But if you do this, please understand, you still have to attach your fabric here. Whether you pin-based, stitch-based, or use a spray adhesive and then press it down, you still have to adhere your product to the backing. So however you want to do that, there's an alternative if you want it, okay? So that's it. And unless there's other questions about EZ Frames, we'll move on. By the way, this product, let me explain to you very quickly. It's called SUPA, S-U-P-A, SUPA Clip, S-U-P-A-C-L-I-P, SUPA Clip, and it's made by a company called Rapesco, R-A-P-E-S-C-O. Amazon, less than 20 bucks. You get the dispenser. And by the way, these little clips are totally reusable. So you use them over and over. It's a one-time purchase. Comes with a box of 100 of the clips. Okay, so there for less than 20 bucks, you got the whole deal. All right, let's talk about single needle for just a minute because we're running out of time.
Okay, can we just recap the numbers real quick of the
Sure.
the EZ Frames, because you had some power packs that were really good deals. So just to recap, there's a 4-piece EZ Frame set, which is let's see. Sold 105 610 for the 6 to 10 needle, or sold 105 Persona for the Persona. There is a 7-piece EZ Frame set, sold 106 610 for brother 6 to 10 needle, and the baby lock equivalents. If you have a Persona or Alliance, that's sold 106 Persona, and make sure you include those spaces for that. There's the 8-piece, which is compatible with the 6 to 10 needle brother and baby lock. That's sold 107. There is a 12-piece that's sold space 108. So if you just aren't sure which one, you can always just like add them and then delete them and just to decide. But there's also the ASK and MSK sets. Did you want to talk about those?
Absolutely. Very quickly, for your multi-needle machine. Can we get our picture up here where it's got it all? Here we go. These are, again, kits, packages that are designed specifically for your machine. This we call an ASK, which is for the Alliance Starter Kit, or if you will, Brother PR100, PRS100 Starter Kit. That's the ASK. The MSK is for the 6 and 10 needle machines, okay? Same components. They contain the same thing. The 3 hoops that I showed you earlier, the plastic traditional hoops, these are our 3 most popular sizes of traditional plastic hoops. So if you're doing heavy duty commercial grade stuff that you really want to hoop something that's tight and strong, those 3 come with it. It also comes with the 7-piece set of EZ Frames and the multi-needle cap frame, okay? So that's the ASK and the MSK, okay? Next package. If you have a 10 needle machine, we have what's called the 10 needle power pack. This package includes the same 2 items, that is to say the 7-piece EZ Frames and the cap frame, but it also includes, if you have that machine and you don't have the jumbo hoop that comes with, that can be purchased as an accessory, this is the jumbo frame. We call it a SturdiFrame. Again, you're using self-adhesive sticky backing on the back, and this fits right into the B arms of your 10 needle machine. And again, that machine, you can do a split design and you can do something as large as 14 by 14. So the 10 needle power pack includes the 14 by 14 SturdiFrame, 7-piece EZ Frames, and the multi-needle cap frame, okay? And by the way, on that cap frame, one thing I didn't mention is the price. I'm not going to give you a specific price, but I would tell you that the round drum type, mostly around $1,000. Cut it and cut it and cut it and cut it and cut it again, and you got the cap frame, okay? So it's much less expensive. Now, that's that one. And then this one we simply call the 10 needle power pack. And the reason we call it the power pack is because it contains the 2 items that everybody wants. It's the 7-piece EZ Frames and the cap frame, plain and simple. We have this for obviously the Persona, and we have it for the 6 and 10 needle machines as well, okay? So those are the packages that we have available for your Persona machine or your 6 and 10, several different options. And I'm sorry I had to run through them so quickly, but if you've got a question, I'm sure we can come back and answer it, okay? So those are the packages for your machines, all right?
So the most popular is sold 121,610 with the spaces in between. If you just want the best of the best, you don't want to split hairs, that's the one to get.
Multi-needle power pack, that's it, okay? And Barbara, I'm sorry I'm running so long, I've run behind. I'm going to cover the single needle just super fast and get to the point this way. With the single needle EZ Frames, the number one question when people come up to the show and they've got a flatbed single needle machine, and I'm going to talk fast, I hope that's okay. When people come up and they say, what's the purpose in this? And I say, well, do you like to hoop? And they say, well, no, not particularly. And I say, well, let me tell you a quick story about a friend of mine named Bob Stone. Bob Stone is the guy that runs one of the largest commercial machine companies in the world. First time I met him, in the first 60 seconds, here's what happened. After we'd said, hello, how you doing? He said, Brent, there are only 2 real issues in embroidery. And I said, really, what are they? I was brand new. I said, what are they? He said, the first is hooping. I said, okay, what's the second? He said, if you solve the first, there is no second. And I found out that he was reflecting the attitude of a lot of people. Most people, if you ask them, what's the one thing you like least about embroidery, it's hooping. So I tell people, I say, the reason for these are called single needle EZ Frames, and they replace the hoops that came with your machine. And you no longer have to hoop. You float everything. And the response that I frequently get is, I float everything anyway. So you don't hoop? Oh, no, I don't hoop. I float everything. Well, okay, would you mind explaining to me how you do that? Well, I just take a piece of cutaway backing and I put it in my hoop and I hoop it. And then I won't stop. You just said you hoop the backing. So you are hooping. And it connects. They go, oh, so you don't, this is just one piece? Yes, just one piece. Put your sticky backing on the back, side, green side up, sticky side up. Press your fabric down. You've got centering notches on all 4 sides. Put it on your machine. And here's the difference with this one. With the single needle EZ Frames only, your machine will recognize the hoop. It knows that this is a 6x6 hoop or a 5x7 or whatever size, okay? The way we sell these, obviously you can buy them individually, but the way most people want to buy them is in packages. And very quickly, and I'm not going to take time to go through every individual package, I'm just going to say it this way. When you go to AllBrands and you're looking at the different packages, remember one very simple thing. Your machine will not, a hoop will not change the capability of your machine. So the reason for the different packages, they're driven solely by answering one question. What's the largest hoop that came with your machine? That's it. That's it. If the largest hoop that came with your machine was a 9.5 by 14, if you've got a Luminaire or a Dream machine, package one, largest hoop's 9.5 by 14. If you've got a machine where the largest hoop that came with your machine is a 7 by 12 and it hadn't been upgraded in any way, package two. So there's 4 hoops in every single package, okay? So that's how the packages are laid out, packages 1 through 6. Select the one for your machine, okay? So with that, we also have 2 packages for those machines as well. We call it Single Needle Power Pack 1, Single Needle Power Pack 1. What it includes are the 4 frames for the Dream machine, if you will, or if you've got the Solaris from last year, there it is. There's that package for number 1. That includes the hoops for your machine and a bonus hoop of a 9.5 by 9.5 and the single needle cap frame. So all of those are in Single Needle Power Pack 1. Single Needle Power Pack 2, and I said Luminaire, and I meant to say Dream machine, I think. This is Single Needle Power Pack 2. This is for the Luminaire and the Solaris. The other was for the Destiny and the Dream machine, okay? Trying to rush, I'm getting in a hurry. So there's the Power Pack 2 for the high-end Solaris, Solaris 2, Luminaire, and Luminaire 2. And this one contains 4 of the main frames plus an 8x8 bonus frame plus the single needle cap frame, okay? And with that, I'm sorry for rushing, and I'm sorry to take so much of your time, but I hope you've learned something. If you've learned nothing else, please learn this. Our hoops are not going to change your machine, but hopefully they'll make embroidery easier. I read with some great humor and interest just recently about a lady that wrote to the Cairo Corn Syrup Company. And I'm going to say this the same way that she wrote it. She wrote a complaint letter. And she said, I've got a problem with your product. I done took 4 bottles of your Cairo corn syrup, and my corns are just as bad as they've ever been. So a product is not designed to change your life. It's designed to do a specific job. And as long as you use that product for what it was intended, whether it's Durkee Hoops or Cairo corn syrup, I promise you it's going to work for you very effectively and you're going to enjoy it. So I hope you've had fun. I've had fun. Barbara, for goodness sakes, let's give something away.
Brent, oh my gosh, that was amazing. So I know that was a lot of information. So if you have any questions, direct message AllBrands Facebook or comment on the YouTube video, and I will be happy to help you get you the EZ Frames or SturdiFrames at our Durkee deals special pricing. So no need to worry about that. And if you missed part of this video, you can re-watch it. So just save the link and you can rewatch it. So we have actually 3 more giveaways. One Yay! I'm going to be doing during this live. Oh my gosh, I love it. Can I see your excitement? And y'all, just let me thank you, Brent. You are such an amazing everything. We love your products. We love you. It's always a joy to be around you.
You know how I feel about you and your family. All of the family.
Oh, goodness. Yes. Okay, so let's give away a Durkee EZ Frame 4-piece set. So whether you have a single needle like I have here or a multi-needle, you just let us know. Go ahead and chime in, give us some comments right now, and I will give you a few seconds and pick a random winner for that. So just give us some likes, comment, share, and then I want to let you know too, for the other 2 giveaways, which we'll be giving away another cap hoop and another 4-piece EZ Frames for either the single needle or multi-needle machine. Like, comment, and share this post to be eligible to win that, and I'll announce the winners on Monday. So, okay. All right, let me close my eyes, and I'll pick a random winner. Pamela Hall. And thank you for watching. She says it's been so educational and fun. And this, it's just a joy to see everyone. So congratulations, Pamela. You won the 4-piece EZ Frame set. Let us know which machine you have. So I'll send you the correct one for that. So yes, if y'all have any questions, let us know. And thank you again, Brent, for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
It's always fun. Thanks so much for inviting us. And one more time, thank you to everybody for your support. I can't thank you enough. You have been so nice and so kind, and we appreciate it more than you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you, Durkee. Thank you, everyone who's watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye, everybody.